Sunday, February 18th is the first Sunday of Lent, so we begin this holy season. It's important for us, I think, to go back and understand the original meaning of this time of Lent. Originally in the church, Lent was a season to prepare for baptism. It was a time for those people who were uncatechized, we would say, or unevangelized, to hear the story of Jesus Christ, to have an opportunity to encounter him, and then to prepare for the Easter sacrament, what we today call baptism, confirmation, and Eucharist. With that background then, we hear today's first reading, the story of Noah's Ark. And to understand Noah's Ark, we have this great baptism of a flood, water that covers the whole earth in order to bring about a new creation, if you will. So let's even go back earlier to the book of Genesis. When God first created us, God was friend with us. God made us to be in communion with God. And that kind of a life was like being in a garden. We called it the Garden of Eden. We could see God face to face. We could be friends with God. That's God's desire. And then what happened? Sin entered the scene. Sin divides us. Sin is disobedience. The Latin word obedere means to listen. So sin means that we fail to listen to God. What does God do and how does God respond when we separated ourselves from that Garden of Eden, from friendship? Well, God begins a great rescue operation. And that's what God has been doing. We hear the story of Noah's Ark is one of the rescue operations. We see in the ark, Noah has put all of creation so that God can carry that ark to a new place and begin anew. God does rescue operations all the time with us. So now let's fast forward to Jesus in today's gospel, the temptations. Jesus has just been baptized by his cousin John, and now he's in the desert. He's in the place opposite of a garden. He goes there on purpose because he goes into our sin and into our division in order to be obedient to his Father. Jesus is the most obedient we can imagine. He listens to everything his Father says and he patterns his whole life on following the will of his Father. That's our model. Jesus goes into the wilderness and he goes into our sin in order to bring us back to a garden. So now fast forward to the death of Jesus. After he dies on a cross, they put him in a tomb that is located in a garden. It's like Jesus is a seed planted in a new garden. And then remember the story of Jesus' resurrection where Mary Magdalene comes. She doesn't recognize Jesus at first. Who does she think he is? The gardener. Jesus comes to restore the Garden of Eden. He comes to restore our relationship with the Father. That's what the season of Lent is about. So what about you and me? We are invited to encounter the Lord again. His great rescue operation is reaching out to you and to me. Spend time praying. Spend time fasting. Spend time giving alms. Through those practices of Lent, we encounter Jesus and he creates us anew.